morning. Our internet went out here, so I hope my Wi-Fi from my phone is sufficient. So happy Tuesday, everybody. And we're excited to get started with everyone on the data sheet. So yesterday, in essence, we went over the concept of the data sheet and a couple of things I want to highlight. So number one is anything that we talk about here is in our platform. Everything is located in the platform there. It's tied to the session or the resource library. And generally, it's available at the latest by the end of the day. So we'll always highlight that to you. And the second thing is I realized with the implementation tracker that we could be a little more helpful in giving you some more context. So as you're going through these sessions, you want to take notes in the form of bullet points, right? And what does that essentially mean? When you hear something that's like an aha moment, a takeaway that I would say, this is the way I'd use it for my business, write that down, right? And then in the end, when you're working on your implementation tracker, then you have specific things that are anchored into the parts of the session. Because a lot of times when we go back, we're like, what was that moment? What did I remember? And we've engineered our workbooks this way for all of our events to be more effective, that the goal isn't just for you guys to come here. It's to come here and to easily be able to use the information to implement it into your business. Your success is our success, and I'll keep recommitting to that throughout the year. Now, today, we're going to walk you through step by step. There also will be a tutorial video that we made, so don't feel that you have to do it. And again, I always say just show up here and be curious, right? And in terms of the data sheet, here's some best practices. There'll be some areas in black and some areas in yellows. Think of the black areas as the main areas. If it was a home, those are the must-haves. The other ones would be would-likes. So don't try to complicate this before getting started. We saw in the first session, people trying to add extra things in and everything else. It's in essence, what you're doing is banks have what's called overlays. So like if you look at a bank like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they sell their loans to Fannie and Freddie Mac just like every other lender. But they have conditions called overlays. Those are additional conditions on top of what's required. As people, we do that stuff. We do that to ourselves all the time. We create overlays, additional barriers to entry that we don't need. Now, the whole purpose of this sheet is to take a 360 look at your business and ultimately know where to focus your time, money, and resources. So where is my Vanna White, Kate Bauer? Kate, where are you? Can you guys pin the two of us, please? Michelle, good morning in San Diego.
Maybe I can pin myself. Should I try it?
Yep.
Okay. I'm pinned.
Me too.
Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. See, I can do it. Self-sufficient. Hi, guys.
Pins, I see one.
I see two. Do you guys see two or one?
Oops, now I have one. I just unpinned you. Where is our team here to help us? Oh, add pin. Boom, I got it.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. So you want to pull up. So everyone, it starts. The first step is going to Compass Home. So Kate will share her screen and we'll start at Compass Home.
Yes, and I said this earlier too. I can see a good amount of you. So just look at this. What we're doing right now is recorded, plus we have recordings and directions for you. So really just get the scope of what we're doing here, get the idea. Don't try to do this while we're on the calls or anything like that, is what I would do. So when you go into Compass Home, you have Business Tracker right here. When you click on Business Tracker, you don't actually have to click on it. It'll just open it up. We all have this Finance tab right down at the bottom. So right underneath Deal Closer. So you're going to want to click on Finances, and then it's going to bring you into this window right over here. You have a few different things. You have summaries, transactions, expenses. We're only going to be working out of this transaction column. So if you've never been in the Finance tab, which I find a lot of us haven't, feel free to go in and play around. But for the sake of actually the data sheet, you're only going to be working out of this transaction column. We're good on that. Have any of you guys seen this before? You can give thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, okay, some of us have seen it, good. All right, so when you're in transactions, it's going to give you a list of all the transactions. The default is probably going to be here, which is going to be last 12 months. We're not going to be working off of that. So when you see last 12 months, you just use this drop down right up at the top right corner. We recommend going into 2022. Doesn't mean that you can't go back and do other years, but again, for the sake of what we're asking you to do, it's going to be actually in that implementation sheet. work off of the year 2022. So update right there. We're only going to be working with this paid. You really shouldn't have too many pendings or in contracts. Those are only going to be if you just close something out in Deal Closer, but the check hasn't even come in yet. So again, make sure this is all on paid. You're going to click this export button, which is right here. And it's going to pull up all of this. So you can filter anything out here. This is going to export into a separate Google Sheet that I'll show you guys right after this. I would say you can keep everything as is right here. If you're a team lead and you want to have certain agents filtered out or filtered in, you can adjust that right here. You can change out the team if you have other teams, transaction types. If you wanted to do it by referrals, rental sales, you can do a bunch. For the sake of this, I would just keep it as is, keep it nice and simple. Go ahead and press export. A green box is going to come up right here. Then you're going to press this link. Are we good there? I want to stop for a second.
Yeah, remember, we always want to go slow. And
that was slow. That was slow. That was good. That was better than this morning.
Yeah. So look, in this, the reason you guys are doing this is you want to go back to last year to get an accurate depiction of what your business was. And going forward, we'll teach you quarterly, biannually, annually, starting how to compare your business so you can really see where the needle moves. But for many of us, it's going to be our first time doing this. And what's interesting is I already had an agent call me that's in one of our mastermind groups, Kate, and it was like mind blowing. He's like, I already know I'm cutting a bunch of expenses. I've already sent him emails. I already know what to do with my team members, and I just changed my schedule. So he's already taken action. So, it's a very quick aha moment for a lot of us. So once the sheet's exported, now we'll go to the sheet now.
Yep. So it's going to open this up. This window will automatically be populated right as you click on link. These are some default transactions in here. So it'll look just like this. So you don't really have to do much on here. I'll just review what it's giving you. This is everything it's generated exactly from Compass. So you can't have this change. You can't really change this before the fact. So if you wanted to change anything, you could do it right now. If you wanted to take out landlord and renter, if you only work with sellers and buyers, you can just change all those. I really wouldn't worry about this too much. It gives you a really good scope of what it is. So the type is if it's a sale or rental, you have the address, close date, which side you represented, what type of property it was, the close price, and then your GCI that was generated. So what you're going to want to do here, I'm going to pause on this one. This is what you're going to get out of the platform. So when you go and click on the deliverable in the platform for the CSV Compass data template, this is exactly, when you click on that link, this is exactly what's going to come up. So it's going to prompt you to make a copy. This is so that we're not all overwriting each other's stuff in here. So you're going to just click make a copy. It will automatically open up to this. So don't really have to do anything here. Just understand that there's two separate sheets. So I'd go back to the one that Compass just opened. You guys will have all these directions too, but just watch me here. So we're going to go over from 2A all the way over to 2G. The formulas are in this first line, number 1, right up here. So we're not going to touch those. So you're just going to go and copy over all of those. We're good there. So 2A to 2G. You can use a shortcut or just press copy right up there. Move right over to that second tab that we just opened up for the copy. Same exact place, 2A in this sheet. They're based off of one another. Paste it right in. And that's it. That's all you need to do with actually exporting your transactions from Compass. Are we good there? Do you guys want me to do it one more time, or we feel good?
So I want to just go back to the other sheet, Kate. So look, you want to just essentially go from 2 all the way down, all the way across to G, right? Because do not copy line 1. We'll be very explicit in that. Some people do that and it gets all confusing and they wonder why all the formulas are. So now go to the actual data sheet. So a couple things to highlight here, right? The ones that are in black are the must-haves. The other ones are would likes. And I would say the only must-have other one that's in yellow is client source, right? So let's talk about client source. Now, we've heard this before. It's like, well, it was a Zillow lead, then they bought a house, and like, where do I categorize them? How you categorize client source is based on their last transaction. Meaning if they became a Zillow lead, then they became your past client, then they bought a house, they'd be past client. So we can put past client there.
Yep.
Now, If it was a past client referral, you put past client referral. Like when you start working within these actual sources, then you can get more granular and more macro, more micro in them. But in the beginning, just keep it really simple. If it's an open house, it's an open house. Don't write open house, geo farm, and like, don't get complicated.
Yeah. Don't put the address of the open house. I've seen people do this. It's not going to resonate with you. You're really, this is, and it's exactly what Chirag just said. I think it's a great way of saying it. This is a really good macro look into it. You can get much more micro as we go into it, and we will give you those opportunities in this group coaching. So for now, just stick to this, get the macro view into it. That's really all we need, especially gearing up and going into next week where we're going to be going with all of this. So same exact thing here. We can do family friends, family/friends. We'll do farming right over here. If you have multiple farms and you spend a lot of time doing that, maybe you want to say which one this is, the meadows. But that would be like an example of me making it a little bit more specific so you actually know what you're talking about. But I wouldn't go in and do every single house and all this kind of stuff. It's going to get too crazy. Do we all feel good on client source? Cool. Okay.
I see the heads nodding.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I only have 4 of you guys. I said this morning. I'm like, I'm really relying on the 4 that's right underneath Chirag over here. So these are the other ones. Anything that's in yellow is going to be, so what he was saying before, anything that's bold, this is what Compass is going to already have given to you over to G. H, there's a formula in here. It's just going to continue to tally up your GCI as you go transaction to transaction. And then anything that is highlighted in yellow, these are things that I need you to go in and fill out. So we'll go through these quickly now as well before we get over to the charts. So age, this is going to be age of your client to really start to get a good macro view into the demographics that you serve amongst ages. So what I always recommend here is keep it simple, do like 10-year increments. I don't need exact ages of how many 35-and-a-half-year-olds you serve, 30 to 40, 50 to 60, could do like 70 plus if you wanted to. I mean, take your pick. So fill that out for all your clients as best as you can. Days on market is going to be only for your listing. So what Chirag and I love about this, for this and number of offers made, this is actually going to start to generate a lot of great quantifiable kind of data points for your team specifically, instead of it being just for me, I'm in the Westchester market. So instead of it going into these pitches and having this overall Westchester view into things, you're able to go in and say, actually, the Corinne and Kate team has an average days on market of this instead of X, instead of saying Westchester does. Same exact thing for number of offers made. This was very helpful when our clients were getting houses for after making 2 offers or less. And a lot of buyers actually did want to work with us when we were able to go ahead and market that and have it be true data that was coming from somewhere. So these are good examples of things that you can be putting in to start generating that type of data to go in and use. And then towns, you could easily change this to say neighborhoods, buildings if you're in a city, or you can keep it as towns, school districts, whatever you want to do. So this is just to kind of give you a good like geographical look into where you're doing most of your business. Do we feel good on this?
Yeah. So look, guys, in the end, this is all going to start producing charts, right? And remember, we always said the sole purpose of data and documentation is to be able to make future business decisions later. So these yellow areas are really areas that you can start highlighting in the business when you're with people. But again, in the beginning, if finding all this information is difficult, just get the sheet done and then put a time block in at another time to do it. That's the second part. So just to be clear, I don't want everyone to feel like they need to get all of the information. You just really, to keep it simple, your only goal of this week is to go to Business Tracker, go to the finance place, download all your 2022 transactions, paste them in and add the client source. That's it. You can always go back and update the sheet after. Now, once a sheet's done, and let's talk about some of these things. If you look at the age and demographic, that influences your CRM, your tags, the way that you could send bulk email and newsletter. When you look at numbers of offers made, it could do 2 things. It could also highlight how you're a great agent in a competitive market, but it also could highlight areas that you might need improvement. Because if you're taking clients out and writing a lot of offers, then you know that you can work on sharing the market better and sharing the comps on how to write winning offers. And you could look into our multiple offer template, right? So there's all these different things that you can do once we have the data set up. And those are what we're going to start showing you in the subsequent sessions is here are the suggestions we make. And I call them suggestions, but for me in a house, if these would all be must-haves, right? Because the goal of this is to just make your business really simple for you. And that agent I referenced this morning, his team does about $100 million. So he's a solid top producer. And I said, what was the biggest takeaway out of this for you? He's like, this just made my life so much simpler, right? It's doubling down on what works and not trying to find all these, as my marketing coach calls, seductive distractions to go chase around. Because if you're looking at this and 70-80% of your business year over year is your past clients and past client referrals, that's where you should be investing more, right? That influence clients' events, gifts, the way you contact them. Then you start sprinkling in lifetime value of a customer. There's so many different ways that you can grow once you know what works. So Kate, you want to show them the charts?
Absolutely. So these are the charts. They're right up over on this second tab, right down at the bottom. So these will automatically be populated. As soon as you go in and fill in the info there, these will come up for you. Any ones that say no data is just the ones we didn't just fill out, just so that you know. But this is really where it's going to be. So when we were talking about where those charts came from that we had on our slides yesterday, this is it. So you guys will all have your own here. Take this, that each of these were 20%. So we put that in there. If you have more than, 5 transactions, we're working off 40 transactions, it's going to be very, I think, apparent to you as to where a lot of your business was coming from in 2022. And then when you start to do this for other years, being able to compare last year and then getting this one up and running, it's very helpful to be able to have these kind of all saved somewhere. So this is kind of it. These are all your charts. You'll have everything there for you. And I hope you have the same experience that agent this morning had. That's the goal.
So here's what we need to do. Everyone needs to take out their implementation tracker. And Kate, you want to pull up the action steps so I can go through it?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull them up.
And then we're going to open up the chat. Now, for the chat, what we want to focus on. Oh, I love seeing Laura Lynn and her entire team sitting here. That's awesome. When we open up the chat, this is not a place to ask where things are. It's asking specific questions related to this. So look, the data sheet was really to create a fundamental understanding of your business. And when you have a comprehensive understanding where your business comes from and what GCI it equates to, this is how you really start maximizing your time, money, and resources. And I'll always go back to this. The sole purpose of data and documenting information is to make future business decisions. So what really happens next? When you start understanding your lead sources from your business and what % your total business comes from each source, that's taking the next step. By understanding what your GCI comes from each one, now you know where to spend your time and money. And the last part is ultimately understanding where to cut your budget. All of you will find money doing this. So simple steps: make the copy of the data sheet, go into the finance section, export your columns. We told you which ones to do, and then fill out the ones in black and get the chart started, and then time block a second time to take action. And you can always manually add. So let's start going through these questions.
Yeah.
So everyone take a minute right now and time block in their calendar an hour to do this. And this is what I call carefrontation. If you sat here for all this time and you're not willing to time block an hour, I want to ask you why. What is the message you're sending yourself? So Laura, Lynn, and crew, because you guys are on my screen, take out your calendars, time to time block. Kate, can you answer this question from Ryan?
Yeah, which one? How did you get the second chart where you had the buyer source? It should just be, do you mean just like the second chart underneath on that chart tab? Because they're just both right over one another.
Emily, we are not going through adding the sheet that we have is our standard sheet that we use and the formulas are made. We're not going to be going through adding columns and everything else like that, because that is like a whole nother technical set of stuff that our team is not equipped to manually answer all those questions. So if we did this once and you're not like an Excel pro, I'm not an Excel pro either. So it's something you could play around with. And I encourage you to find an Excel expert or Google it. I'm not sure how to do that. And it's not something we will cover.
Yeah.
Yep, you can look at 2021. You can manually add as well. I left my old team, so my own, I lost all my data in my business tracker. If you lost your business tracker, then go on the MLS.
You can also reach out to finance, get a CSV file from them.
Abby, just log into the resources, you click the file, and it'll prompt up to make a copy. Do I save it to my computer? It automatically saves in Google Sheets.
Okay, I'm getting some that confused on data template, downloading and pasting. Do you want me to do one more run through of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, for everyone that has, where do I get my data information? There are two places. Either you can get it from Compass Transactions, and if you can't, then you have to go on your MLS. We don't have manual support. We have videos.
And also remember, this session we're currently in is being recorded, so you can always go back in and watch this, but I'll do this one more time. So when you're in here, business tracker, finance tab, transactions right up here. You can customize the year, so 2022. You're going to click on export right down at the bottom. Press the link. They'll give you all of these. You're going to copy and paste from 2A to 2G. And then copy and paste in the exact same spot right here. Good on that? And go back in, like you can slow down this recording that we're in right now and have your other laptop right over there watching it. Okay, what else do we have?
So look, effectively for today, what I want you guys to do is this, is if you have questions, you can email our support team, but just to be clear, to set expectations for our team, we cannot handle all the tech questions, right? We have a video, you make a copy. Over 1,000 agents have done this, right? So you download your export your transactions, you just simply copy and paste into the data sheet, and the sheet will do it itself. If you're having an issue when you do that, it means you copied and pasted the wrong line or copied formulas or something else.
I'm also going to chime in one more time. Somebody's saying that you can download this and make a copy to Excel. Excel is not the same thing as Google Sheets. So if you do that and you can't find your charts, that's why. So this is only going to work in Google Sheets. So I would probably not do that, because then I know you're going to say, where'd all my charts go? So keep this right in here. Compass works in Google. So make a separate Google folder and just save that right in there. You can just move these files around. Again, if you don't know how to do that, watch a 5-minute YouTube video, not just for this, but it'll make your whole life a lot simpler to know how to use Google folders.
And look, Caden in Seattle has been nice enough to say that he's a Google Sheets expert. So if you have questions, his email's in the chat, and he's offered to collaborate with you guys. So that's very nice of him.
That's very nice.
Look, for today, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes back into your calendar. Make sure you time block if you have not. And if I had a free block right now, I would go and do this in Compass Finance Now. If you just follow the directions, just take 15 minutes. This is not, it shouldn't be a timely process. So as always, with love in my heart, I love you all. And believe me, it's just going to be the most eye-opening exercise that you've done in your business. So we will see you guys all soon, and make sure you attend your expert mentor sessions this week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.